in brief, could you tell us what exactly happened? And is this the first time something like this has been that's happened to you? I'm sure you would have received more threats in the past as well.
Well, the Goa Chronicle has been receiving a lot of threats. Not only this time. This time, of course, was a hand grenade, a high intensity hand grenade that was thrown at the home of our journalist in Kashmir, and it was the first time it has happened. The family was targeted. The mother was targeted because she was the sarpanch. And we believe that's what the resistant front actually claimed. Now, the resistant front that claimed credit for the attack is nothing but an offshoot of the Lashkar-e-Taiba. And they have been in Kashmir before. They've taken a new name, the Resistance Front, to appeal to the international audience that their fight is for legitimacy of the Kashmiri people in India, and to highlight the supposed high atrocities of the Indian army and the Indian government. So it's a whole cabal that's working against India's interests. And they're using, you see, when they were Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jamaat Islamiyah, all these names, they didn't get much international recognition because they were considered to be, they sounded to be terror in name. But the Resistance Front gives it this cleaner image that, we are here for a purpose. We're here. This is an activism, but they're not activism. They're clearly a terrorist organization. And on 9 p.m., 3 days ago, they threw a high-intensity grenade at the home of our journalist. They claim to have targeted the mother, who's a sarpanch, which makes it even worse because she's an elected representative of the Indian government that's working for the upliftment of the people in her village in Baramulla. And I think it's a very cowardly act. But then I've always considered Islamic terrorists to be cowards. So I'm sure this is nothing unusual for them. This is something that they do, even in their sleep, to act like cowards and throw hand grenades and run away. So we're not worried. We've been getting threats for quite some time. Last year, we were receiving a lot of calls from Pakistan on my personal number. I had to change my number because my old number, because of the calls that we were getting. We tracked down the calls to the northwest frontier in Pakistan, which is predominantly the drug belt and the terror hub. In fact, the place where the person called me from was the same place where the terrorists in the Taj attacks came from. So it's almost the same village, actually, to be more precise. So this gentleman called Fayaz Gul, we tracked him down, and we sent him a message, which is, now we've got eyes on you because now we know who you are. So we will track you, we will trace you, and the rest will be taken care of by the concerned people who favor Goa Chronicles journalism within the country and want to keep us alive.
Right.
You see, the problem, what a lot of people are not understanding is our kind of journalism has always been very, very truthful in its approach. We're not trying to put anybody down. We're not trying to raise anybody up. We just want people to see the truth for what it is. So the truth is, Islamic terrorism is a reality. It's not something that we can hide away from. In fact, we will be doing our first show, the Goa Chronicles show, and the topic itself is on Islamic terrorism and how the world needs to open its eyes to this evil that is amongst us, because it's something that's very deviant. It's something that's driven by a sort of fanatic religious ideology, which wants to instill itself with a lot of, wants to enforce itself with a lot of fear amongst people. The classic example is what's happening in Afghanistan right now. You see, the Taliban itself is one of the highest perpetrators of terrorist attacks in the world. People are talking about legitimacy of Taliban. Are we joking? Yes. Are we going to let a terrorist organization, go about ruling a government right now? Are foreign governments going to now deal with a terrorist organization that they themselves have claimed to be terrorist, in various different official documents of theirs? That itself is a joke.
Yes.
I mean, people are talking about Taliban, bad Taliban. The only good Taliban is a dead Taliban. If I have to say it as crudely as possible, because they are not people who do deserve to live. They are inhuman. If many people have not spoken, and we've written about it, that in the first 6 months of Taliban's existence of 2021 is in Afghanistan, 2,948 casualties in the first 6 months, out of which, all of them are connected to Taliban. Taliban was responsible for 56% of the casualties and the deaths in Afghanistan in the first 6 months itself. And this was the period, post the talks with the US and Donald Trump of the troops withdrawing and Taliban, trying to soften itself to look into Afghanistan.
Yes.
If you're going to have 2,948 deaths, casualties, that were caused by Taliban, there is no moderation in this organization. You see, the organization is driven by a very deviant form of fanaticism, and they're going to make life for the women, life for the children, and life for people who don't follow their dictates going to be very terrible in Afghanistan. So this entire shenanigans around cleaning the image of Taliban is nothing but an eyewash to the truth. So today we are going to accept Taliban. Tomorrow we'll have to accept ISIS. Day after tomorrow we should then accept the Lashkar-e-Taiba if they march into India. Are you telling me we are going to accept terrorists? That's the joke that the international community is made out of this entire issue. And the US, which is supposed to be the big brother of most nations around the world, is behaving like a big coward because they've created this mess for Afghanistan, and through the Taliban created a further mess in not only the region that we are in, but also the world, because Taliban is an ambitious group of people who are actually going to try and further take their madness of Islamic terrorism under the guise of Islamic nation around the rest of the world. They're just waiting for that opportunity, and you've given them, you made them look like they are bigger than the largest democracy, one of the largest democracies in the world, a superpower. That's the United States of America. That's the problem. And for us as Goa Chronicle journalists, I don't care if you throw hand grenades or you bomb our places, you threaten us. One thing is certain, that any harm comes to the Goa Chronicle journalist team, then they can be rest assured, whichever source that harm is coming from, they are not going to exist anymore. If you notice that since the bomb, the hand grenade on our journalist's house, that subsequent afternoon itself, the top leader of the TRF was executed by the Indian security forces, 2 of them. Yesterday, 3 more TRF terrorists were executed by the Indian security forces. The point I'm trying to make is, at the end of the day, we are not just journalists. We are soldiers in this information war, and we are also backed by soldiers that actually fight a physical war. And that's the power of the Goa Chronicle journalism, because we've never taken sides and we've always spoken for the truth. And if you want to think that you can intimidate us, you're going to lose, because we're not going to stop.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.